It better be good. That's all I got.
Okay, so you can tell we're already having big fun, okay? This is Peter Bishop, and he is here from Economic Development in the city of High Point. And one of our questions, he did an amazing presentation, but one thing I want to touch on is smaller businesses like mine, who we hire 1099s and we have contractors. And I was asking him about some of the programs. So they do have a program that allows businesses to get reimbursement if they have a retail location, if they're creating jobs. But 1099s are not employees, so people wouldn't be applicable to that. But we came up with a solution for people who may, want to do that, but maybe they're not as large and they don't have the funding to do that yet. And so if a person said, listen, I want to come into the city of High Point and I want to get one of these amazing retail locations that you have, then they may not have everything that they need, but they could kind of team up with other businesses to create something that's more of like a collaborative type space.
That is correct.
Okay.
And so some of the tools that I talked about in the presentation, our Building Upfit grant and our facade grant, those would be more applicable to that situation because those are focusing on renovating and building out a property. And as you know, every city has some vacant properties that they want to see, get some paint, get some activity, get some job creation. Because what we really want to see in those situations is it's not just seeing the building renovated, but the economic activity that flows out of having people there, being creative, doing work, because those people are going to buy gas, they're going to go to lunch, they're going to, that impact is going to spread out to other small businesses. So we don't just look at the direct impact of an investment, we also look at the indirect and induced impact in a typical economic development analysis. So we're looking at those follow-on investments. So I think a facade grant would certainly be in play, and depending on the scale of the investment, a Building Upfit grant.
Definitely. And we are right now located inside of Congdon Yards, which I remember when this was a shell, okay? I remember when there was no heat in the building.
Right.
Like, it was winter time, my car got stuck in the snow. This is how long it's been that it was that long ago. And then it snowed again this year, right? But this was a dream, right? That baseball stadium wasn't there. So how impactful has Congdon Yards been, especially for small businesses? Because a lot of people may not know that they can come right here and they can come in this commons area and they can do business. Right. So if they don't have an office and they can't afford that, they can still come here and take a meeting. They can get some coffee, which supports another small business. But how impactful has this particular venue been for small business?
It's been very impactful. I think, as you said, it's an open space. It's got free Wi-Fi. It's got a great coffee shop. Not free, but fantastic. And it's where a lot of people come to convene. We in our office refer to it as High Point's living room. Because it very much reflects the city of High Point.
It really is.
You see all different types of individuals, from nonprofits, from big business, small business. So everybody, our mayor has an office in this building. The people that you run into, those casual connections that can turn into real business opportunities, happen in spaces like this. So it's really a catalyst. And when the city invested in the stadium and some other properties around here, and then the Congdon Foundation invested in this with the partnership of Business High Point, those catalytic investments really helped set the stage for additional economic activity. So that same economic impact argument I made before, you make some big investments in some sort of core foundational pieces, and then you watch the other businesses fill in and grow. So, there's a construction project across the way. We've got a new hotel on the other side. We have a food hall here. And all of Church Avenue just up the street here has turned into really a restaurant and entertainment complex to support game days. So all of these different things happen because of those foundational investments.
Definitely. Now, one more thing. High Point is known for one major thing, which is Furniture Market.
It is.
Furniture Market is twice a year, okay? Annually.
Yes.
Furniture Market is so serious that it might be 2049 and they already have it planned out, okay? Like it's that far out.
It's big business.
So when you talk about Furniture Market, a lot of small businesses want to get engaged in it. They're not the furniture producers, but they're also other providers. So are there procurement opportunities that some small businesses can access that would bring economic development into High Point in relation to the Furniture Market?
There are, and I think one of the organizations that has sprung up in the last few years that's been very intentional about making those connections and trying to really make, you mentioned it's a two-time-a-year event, This organization is called High Point by Design, HPXD, and their intent is to make furniture a year-round and design a year-round type of activity. So it is for the manufacturers, for some of the small businesses and entrepreneurs that you mentioned, but for a lot of the folks coming in, a lot of the designers and buyers that are only here twice a year, they only think of it as twice a year, and we want to expand that thought and that process to look at High Point as a year-round destination for furniture design, for manufacturing. So I think High Point by Design would be a great avenue. Also, we work on one of the partners that I mentioned on the screen was the High Point Market Authority. They do, now their focus is the show, but through those interactions, they're working with all sorts of companies and have great relationships there. So our office certainly leverages the Market Authority and the show to meet with new companies and to make connections. And I think that's really the next step of expanding market and the impact of market is making more business and economic development connections.
So one of the things that I think about when we talk about furniture market, and we also specifically talk about procurement, is people have to eat. So the food businesses, that could be a part of that. That could be food trucks, that could be restaurants, that could be caterers, but then also people need that content. So that could be somebody like 29th and 11, where they're recording the content and they're showcasing the designers or even the people that are in High Point. So for those type of people where they want to get involved and they want to be a part of that, is there, should they just recommend, with those other organizations that you mentioned, or should they make sure that they're registered with the city of High Point? Because they can't do certain things unless they get registered.
Well, I think it's a both and.
Okay.
So I think, of course, registering, so being aware and having all the different folks that may be potential customers or partners aware that you exist and that you're providing a great service that could be applicable to the many other businesses and activities in High Point, that is vital step one. And I think really for any business, awareness, understanding, making sure your name's out there, your product's out there, and that your reputation is strong. To the second point of that, the Market Authority is really the base organization that they know all the showrooms and all the people who are making catering orders, that are looking for content creators. So they would be a great point of contact to try to step into that market. And we have talked directly, Tammy Covington, the executive director of that organization and president, about how we can make that pathway easier, and how we can make connections between these really large and very active businesses and local caterers, for example. That's a great example because restaurants get a lot of business, but a lot of folks have private events within their showrooms, and they need photographers, they need caterers, they need good food, and for them to be able to tell, this gets into storytelling again, to tell a story about using local folks that have that skill, that have a unique and special and oftentimes delicious and interesting offering.
It's great to be delicious and offering good stuff.
That's right. So it all really makes sense. It keeps that supply chain tight. It keeps the economic impact within the city of High Point and our other surrounding areas. So I think those are great opportunities.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And this is the Growth Biz Fest. You're here. I'm Chisa Pennix-Brown to Give It to the People. Peter Bishop, City of High Point, Economic Development. And is there anything you want to leave the people with?
Just encouragement. I think what you're doing is incredibly difficult. It's hard nights, it's weekends, you have a family, you have your 9 to 5 in some cases. Keep fighting, keep working, don't get discouraged. Lean on the ecosystem, lean on the individuals that you've seen today in this seminar. We're here to help you. Let's make time, let's be intentional about it, and stay in the fight.
All right.